My House of Horrors Chapter 691-700. Before Chen Ge appeared, the shadow only felt hatred toward Chen Ge. After Chen Ge appeared, the shadow's hatred toward Chen Ge deepened. Initially, he planned to turn Chen Ge into his shadow, but now he just wanted to kill the man before him. Lingering spirits cannot leave their objects of possession. Specters can leave their objects of possession for a short period of time, and red specters can leave their objects of possession for a long period of time. They can even find new objects to possess. That is how I used to differentiate between ghosts and specters. Chen Ge looked at the approaching shadow. But this method is no longer suitable for specters above red specters. Dr. Gao said that he smelled the presence of a specter above red specter from the shadow. But what is the difference between a specter above red specter and a red specter? The difference in power between them should be bigger than the difference between a normal specter and a red specter. It was easy to distinguish a red specter from a normal specter. The red dress was the most obvious sign. But what was the difference between a specter above red specter and a normal red specter? The shadow can only be considered a top red specter. After the ghost fetus real body is born, it should be a full specter above red specter. Chen Ge also noticed some problems with the shadow. The baby in the shadow's chest is consuming his body. He uses himself to feed the baby in exchange for power that is beyond his limit. With regards to the baby, even though he looks normal, he gives me a very bad feeling. Staring at him is like staring at the picture of the specter on the door of my haunted house. When Dr. Gao was about to be exposed, he sacrificed a few living people, gouged out their eyes, and left a picture of a specter on the door of Chen Ge's haunted house's bathroom. That specter is probably a specter above red specter. Thinking about it, there were many suspicious things about the Society of Strange Tales, like the wooden box with the black blood. The reason why Chen Ge could grow so fast had a lot to do with the black blood that she stole from the members of the society. This kind of black blood was different from the black blood that was mixed with the curse on Dr. Gao's body. It was a pure black. Even though it was placed inside the box, one could sense the resentment contained in the blood. Could it be that Dr. Gao is trying to lure a greater red specter to the door at the haunted house? Chen Ge could not guess the purpose of the demon pattern. The only person who knew the truth, the person who designed the layout, had also become a madman. Chen Ge did not know whether the current situation was good or bad. If a monster above red specter is attracted, then there's nothing I can do. The only thing I can do is to increase the number of employees and make them stronger. As long as Chen Ge breaks through, all the problems will be solved, but the difference between a red specter and a greater red specter is huge. Even the shadow took more than 10 years to complete the transformation. If Chen Ge wants to become a greater red specter, it feels like something is missing. Chen Ge's power had grown at an unbelievable rate. She was once as strong as the woman from Coffin Village, but now she was probably far stronger than the woman from the well. Chen Ge should have her own secrets. I've been treating her with sincerity, but actually, I don't know that much about her. The loud clash pulled Chen Ge back to reality. The black blood that contained the curse splashed everywhere, and strands of black hair wrapped around Chen Ge. Binding, gluttony, heart-linking, pain, sharpness, how come you have so many special traits? Under the protection of Chen Ge's black hair, Chen Ge heard the shadow's voice. I think he mentioned the word sharpness earlier. Gluttony was the red specter's trait. Chen Ge had eaten her heart, so it was understandable that she would have this trait. Binding was probably Chen Ge's natural trait, and it matched her personality. She had been using black hair to its fullest extent. Chen Ge had also consumed the twin children of the demon man from the Society of Strange Tales. The heart linking was probably obtained from the twins. This explained why Chen Ge could hear the voice in Chen Ge's heart. She had probably connected her heart with Chen Ge since then. But the remaining two traits confused Chen Ge. From the name, the pain trait should be related to Shu Yin, and Shu Yin had just become a red specter. Even Shu Yin himself probably did not understand this trait, so why would Zhang Ya have this trait? The sharpness trait belonged to the headless woman from Xiao Bu's neighbor's house. She had been cut to death, and her dying obsession had caused the blood vessels around her neck to carry this trait. To confirm whether Zhang Ya had secretly eaten the headless woman or not, Chen Ge even opened the comic to take a look. The headless woman was still inside. Her body was intact, but she looked very obedient. The headless woman is a red specter that I plan to absorb into the haunted house. And Shu Yin is my haunted house's employee. He listens to my orders. Does this mean that Zhang Ya can obtain the power of other red specters through me? Chen Ge's mouth fell open. He thought that was impossible. The traits that the shadow mentioned should be all the special powers inside the black phone. Since the shadow can see through the traits of all the red specters, does that mean that his own special power is insight? This was the first time that Chen Ge had heard of the term trait. He felt like the shadow might have been wrong this time. Zhang Ya should not have so many traits, but other than the restriction on the surface, she had another trait that was very well hidden. Zhang Ya had her own personal page on the black phone. Initially, Chen Ge thought that this was a privilege that only red specters had, but after Shu Yin fully became a red specter, he realized that things were not as he thought. Even though Shu Yin had become a red specter, he still only occupied a single row on the employee page, and his name had turned blood red. Lingering spirits do not have any special powers, and only a small portion of specters have special powers. They are existences that can only be found by luck. Red specters definitely have special powers, but the number is different. The strength cannot be measured by the number of unique traits. Based on this, what kind of power would a red specter possess? Chen Ge tried to speculate the power of a red specter. Actually, he was trying to figure out how to become a red specter as soon as possible. The deadline for the 4-star trial mission, School of the Afterlife, was almost up. He had almost failed at the 3.5-star difficulty. If he really entered a 4-star scenario, he would probably die again. Even though there is no existence of a red specter in a 3.5-star scenario, there are traces of a red specter everywhere. Based on this, there might be a real specter above a red specter in a 4-star scenario. Chen Ge sucked in a breath. There were many ghost stories in his city, but even in a unique city like this, there were only 3 known 4-star scenarios. In other words, there might only be 3 red specters in the whole city. They were the city's deepest secret, and they represented the darkness of this city. While Chen Ge was thinking, the situation outside had changed drastically. The commotion became louder and louder. Under the attack of Zhang Ya and Dr. Gao, the shadow started to show signs of fatigue. The body made from curses was formless and intangible. When a normal specter touched it, it would not cause any damage to the shadow. If anything, it would cause great damage to itself. With that, the shadow would have been able to roam freely among red specters, but unfortunately, he had run into Zhang Ya and Dr. Gao. These 2 top red specters could withstand a large number of curses. Not only were they powerful, their special power was the bane of the shadow's existence. Dr. Gao's restraints and Zhang Ya's restraints could limit the shadow's physical advantage, so he could not escape and could only fight head-on. The battle between red specters was intense. Tearing down the other's resentment to replenish one's own was something unimaginable for a living person, but for specters, it was a common sight. The shadow was covered in curses, but the 2 top red specters did not care about that. Dr. Gao had gone mad from carrying too many things on his back. Zhang Ya looked normal on the surface, but after the fight, The shadow realized that the woman's madness was no weaker than the two chairmen of the Society of Strange Tales. The black body was shattered again and again. Black blood leaked out from the baby's eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. Everyone there heard a strange sound. It sounded like the blood sky above their heads was crying, or it sounded like the land where nightmares were rooted was crying. Crying, laughing. Everyone seemed to see a child holding a knife standing in the back alley that was flooded by the storm. His neck was strangled by a rope, and his head was pressed into the mud. His tears mixed with the rain. He kept crying until his lips slowly cracked open, and a smile appeared on his face. He sank to the bottom of the water. The fire burned him, and the sharp blades pierced through his fleshless body before burying him in a deep hole that had been dug. He could not breathe, and he could not see the sun. The only thing he could touch were various ugly scars. "Why are you trying to kill me? What have I done wrong?" The shadow's body was collapsing, and the remaining curse was like a blood vessel that stabbed into the baby's heart. The unborn face became clear. The soft bones were squeezed into strange shapes, and the body was filled with curse and malice. The baby opened his eyes and looked at Chen Ge, who was protected by the black hair. Its chest suddenly jumped, and a rain of blood fell from the sky. Its eyes reflected Chen Ge's figure, and the baby's heart beat heavily, faster and faster. Panting heavily, the baby did not look like a monster formed by the curse at all, but more like a living person. It had its own body, but its organs were beating crazily, as if they were about to explode. But in this situation, the corners of its mouth split open. His eyes became more and more unfamiliar. They lost their deceit and were replaced by pure malice and hatred. These are not the shadow's eyes. Narrowing his eyes, Chen Ge looked at himself in the baby's eyes through the gaps of his black hair. It was a completely unfamiliar version of himself, but he was sure that it was him. "I have died many times for you. Now, it is time for you to die for me." The blood vessel exploded, and the shadow's body crumbled completely. The broken ghost baby crawled out from its chest and charged at Chen Ge in the rain of blood. Its speed was 10 times faster than before. Layers of black hair were torn apart. Even though the chains wrapped around its body, it could not slow down the ghost baby's speed. Its body continued to crumble, but the Chen Ge in its eyes became clearer. The curse that covered its body morphed into black threads that surged into the eyes, and they entangled the Chen Ge in the eyes tightly. The distance was very far, but Chen Ge had lost the ability to move. He felt like his body was being restrained by something. No contact. What kind of power is this? Resentment. Curse. Unable to control the body, the ghost baby drained the shadow dry, and it appeared to be using the power of his real body, the ghost fetus. The black threads that entangled Chen Ge in the eyes started to burn. The black flames burned the Chen Ge in his eyes, but Chen Ge in real life felt the same pain. It was as if ants were crawling all over his body, biting and burning him bit by bit from the outside. All the good things you have will become the fertilizer of despair. I will wait for you at the bottom of the abyss. The ghost baby's lips tore open. It stared deeply at Chen Ge. My shadow. Bang. The black hair blocked Chen Ge's vision, wrapping him completely behind it. The strands of black hair crawled into Chen Ge's body and consumed all the curse. This was the power of gluttony. The ghost baby was using the ghost fetus power. This kind of curse was hard to handle even for a red specter, but the ghost baby was using it to deal with a living person. Did he just say that I am his shadow? Unable to control his body, Zhongya was consuming the curse. With his superhuman willpower, Chen Ge did not fall. Through the gap, he opened his eyes to look at the ghost baby. The chains and black hair curled around his body, and the ghost baby stopped 3 meters away from Chen Ge. Zhang Ya's arm pierced through the ghost baby's eyes, and Dr. Gao gripped the ghost baby's heart. Just a little more. The ghost baby laughed madly in the rain of blood. His chest rose and fell, and his body expanded irregularly. Chen Ge, I will remember this day. In return, I will make sure you remember every day. The ghost baby finally moved his eyes away. He looked at a spot in eastern Zhejiang. The bones were pushed open, and this, disposable, body expanded again. Strange black symbols appeared on the surface of the ghost baby's body. They appeared to be the original curse in the nightmare. Be careful. Chen Ge's warning came too late. The black lines cut through the flesh from the inside out. The symbols disintegrated, and the ghost baby's body exploded from the inside out. His eardrums seemed to explode, and all sound disappeared. His mind went blank. Chen Ge could feel his body retreating, and then he started to fall. Finally, he was caught by something. When Chen Ge opened his eyes again, he saw that he was dangling outside the 9th floor, entangled by the remaining black hair. Zhang Ya. The black hair was still there, but the symbols of curses started to appear among the black hair above the 10th floor. She threw me off. The blood rain had stopped. With the ghost apartment as the center, the screams of ghosts came from all around them. They had caused too much commotion, and it had attracted the attention of the ghosts from the other buildings around Liwan City. The screams are not afraid of the shadow. Just how scary is the world behind the door? The blood fog covered everything. Even with yin-yang vision, Chen Ge could not see the ghosts, he could only hear their voices. The black hair was pulled upward, and when Chen Ge returned to the top floor, he was shocked by what he saw. When the ghost baby's body exploded, neither Zhang Ya nor Dr. Gao dodged. The two top red specters made the same decision at that moment. They attacked each other madly. Neither of them put up any defense. Most of the black hair and chains were broken, and to make matters worse, both Zhang Ya and Dr. Gao were branded with the ghost baby's symbols. The symbols crawled through their bodies like fish, and it was very difficult to get rid of these curses. Both of them were in bad shape. Dr. Gao had lost an arm, and the curse and negative emotions could no longer be suppressed. The faces of innocent people were screaming and crying. The half of Zhang Ya's body, which was facing the shadow, was also branded with the curse. To make matters worse, her face appeared to be injured as well. Dr. Gao had the special power of suppression and transformation, and Zhang Ya had the power of gluttony. Both of them were heavily injured, but neither was ready to give up. They were both holding on, preparing to strike again. Why did they suddenly attack? Chen Ge looked at the center of the rooftop. Dr. Gao's hand that was holding the ghost baby's heart had fallen to the ground. It was about to be dissolved by the curse. Most of it had dissolved into black blood, but the ghost baby's heart was nowhere to be seen. Did it explode? After a closer inspection, Chen Ge realized that Dr. Gao's remaining hand was holding half a blood-red heart. The heart was only 1/5 the size of a normal heart, and it was covered in black patterns. A red specter's heart is blood red. Even though this heart is small, it is fundamentally different from a red specter's heart. The black patterns give me a very dangerous feeling, like something bad will happen if I look at it. Half of the heart was with Dr. Gao, and the other half was with Zhang Ya. Both of them wanted the other's heart. Without saying anything, Chen Ge silently retreated. He searched through his backpack and summoned all the remaining employees. Perhaps I can discuss this with Dr. Gao. He is a reasonable person, so he should be able to look at the bigger picture. When the ghost baby's body exploded, Bai Cholan and the woman from the tunnel had both hidden inside the comic. The curse appeared to only be effective on living humans and ghosts, it did not seem to work on inanimate objects. Chen Ge actually wanted to ask the woman if she was used to living inside Yan Danian's comic, but considering that Zhang Ya was right beside him, he wisely kept his mouth shut. The two sides faced each other on the rooftop, and there was a strange balance between them. A new battle was about to break out. About 10 seconds later, a loud explosion came from Liwan City. Everyone turned to look, and a blood tide was rushing toward Mingyang residence. In the thick blood fog, the real owner of Liwan City, Xiao Biyu, Meng Nan, and Lao Zhou were rushing toward the ghost apartment. Xiao Biyu was not a normal red specter. The door to Liwan City had gone out of control. It was no longer limited to a single building but the whole town. As the door pusher, Xiao Bu's power kept increasing. How scary she was, Chen Ge had no idea, but at least she was no weaker than the glutton woman at the hotel. A normal red specter was one thing, but with the addition of a top red specter on Chen Ge's side, the balance had been broken. The two presidents of the Society of Strange Tales turned to look at Xiao Biyu at the same time, and then they reacted at the same time. Do it. I have so many things to say to him. Quote, when Chen Ge was yelling, Dr. Gao had already jumped down from the building. The chains pierced into the building. He held the half-heart and crawled into the blood fog, disappearing. Dr. Gao's decisiveness in leaving surprised Chen Ge. He had no idea why a madman would suddenly make such a decision. Perhaps some kind of taboo had been triggered, or at some point, the despair that Dr. Gao carried with him had made the same choice. He left just like that. I still want to ask him about the door at the haunted house. Chen Ge did not care if Dr. Gao went crazy. He was willing to give his time and energy to help Dr. Gao, but the latter did not appreciate it. After Dr. Gao left, the black hair on the rooftop disappeared, and Zhangya walked to Chen Ge's side. Her long hair covered half of her face. Just as Chen Ge thought that Zhangya was going to say something to him, Zhangya's eyes scanned the woman in the tunnel, and then she reached out to grab the headless woman from the comic. Ignoring Yan Danian, who was shivering in the corner of the comic, Zhangya tied a strand of black hair around the headless woman's wrist. Then she leaned against Chen Ge and disappeared into the shadow. Looking at the place where Zhangya had walked, there was a trail of black blood. She did not seem to be in a good condition. During the last fight with the Society of Strange Tales, before Zhangya went into hibernation, she handed me a doll to help me ward off disasters. This time, she tied the hair around the headless woman's wrist to force the headless woman to listen to her, probably for the same reason. Could it be that Zhangya is going to hibernation again? Is she too heavily injured? Or is she planning to make good use of the ghost baby's heart? Quote, Chen Ge was familiar with Zhangya's personality. When Zhangya looked at the woman in the tunnel earlier, she was probably planning to turn the woman into a doll. But with Zhangya's current physical condition, she did not have the confidence that she would succeed, so she took a step back and grabbed the headless woman, who was also heavily injured. Drive Gao's condition is probably worse than Zhangya's, but it's better to be careful. They are both specters who stand at the top of the red specters, and they have both obtained the heart related to a greater red specter. If Dr. Gao succeeds first, perhaps he will escape from the door at the haunted house one night. Dr. Gao could not control his negative emotions and curses, but that did not mean that he would not be able to control them when he became a greater red specter. Once Dr. Gao recovered his rationality, he would be a very scary opponent. Top power and top intelligence, how am I supposed to deal with that? How about I have Gao Rushui stay at my haunted house in the future? And arrange a dressing room next to the toilet for her. Quote, Boss. While Chen Ge was thinking, Lao Zhou's group arrived. Thank you for your hard work. Chen Ge said that from the bottom of his heart. He wanted to give Lao Zhou a hug, but he hugged empty air. It was then that he realized something. It's great that you're all fine. He exchanged a few words with Lao Zhou and promised Meng Nan that he would send him back to fix the window before he pulled them back into the comic. Xiao Biyu, the shadow has been killed, so you're free now. But you must not let your guard down. The shadow's real body, the ghost fetus, is about to be born. He might return to find you. Chen Ge's hint was very obvious. Xiao Biyu did not give Chen Ge an answer immediately. The sound of liquid dripping came from the stairwell next to him. A woman in a red raincoat carried Xiao Bu's remaining body parts and carried Tong Tong to the rooftop. She tried her best to open her sewn mouth a sliver like she had something to say to Chen Ge. Have you found your own child? Chen Ge understood that the woman in the red raincoat had entered the ghost apartment to find her child. He had seen it with his own eyes. The ghost apartment was filled with children whose memories had been sucked out by the shadow. The woman in the red raincoat shook her head. She placed the body parts not far away from Xiao Bu and turned to leave. The blood on her raincoat slid down to form a few words on the ground. I will stay here. After I find him, I will go find you. I know you want to thank me, but how come those words sound so scary? Chen Ge did not stop the woman in the red raincoat. He still had many things to do. Welcome to Fanfic Audiobook, your go-to place for immersive audiobooks. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. One of Xiao Bu's hands had been consumed by the shadow, and the other hand was in the smiling man's hand. After the battle just now, the smiling man disappeared without a trace. It was very likely that he had taken advantage of the chaos to escape. Xiao Bu, you've obtained most of your body. Can you control the door now? Chen Ge was worried that the door in Liwan City would continue to expand. Xiao Bu shook his head. The blood pooled on the ground to form words, the door has completely gone out of control. I can only slow down its expansion. To control it, you'll need to find all of my body. Then, can you open the door now and send us away? Xiao Bu was the door pusher, and from how Chen Ge saw it, he could do that. The blood flowed, and new words appeared on the ground. I can, but I can only open it for 1 minute a day. The door has been controlled by the shadow, and I still need to explore many things. 1 minute is enough. Chen Ge knew that Xiao Bu could not leave with him. Like Meng Nan, she needed to stay behind the door to guard this place. The door in Liwan City had already gone out of control. If there was no door pusher to guard it and it was taken over by something else, what happened that night might repeat itself. With that in mind, Chen Ge did not force Xiao Bu to leave with him. As if reading Chen Ge's mind, the blood on the ground changed again. You've killed your shadow, so based on our promise, I'll become your new shadow. I will not forget that. After I gain full control of the door, I'll go find you. Xiao Bu's eyes wandered between Chen Ge and the shadow behind him. It was hard to tell what he was thinking. Okay. Killing the shadow and then having Xiao Bu become Chen Ge's shadow, that was the plan of Chen Ge's parents, but things had changed in a way that no one expected. Compared to Xiao Bu, who was weak and easy to control, Zhongya was the other end of the spectrum. No one knew what would happen if she became the shadow. Right, there's one more thing I want to ask you. Chen Ge was suddenly reminded of a question. 1/3 of the Society of Strange Tales' heritage is hidden in Liwan City. Do you know where they are? Xiao Bu shook his head again. Chen Ge did not pursue the matter any further. Whether it was the shadow or Dr. Gao, they were both sly old foxes. The good stuff must have been hidden very deeply. Drive Gao is probably here for the Society of Strange Tales. That madman is very scary. He'll probably come again. You're in Liwan City, and the woman in the raincoat is at the ghost apartment. Both of you are my friends, and a friend of a friend is a friend. So, if you run into any danger, I hope you can look out for each other. You can also come to Western Zhujiang's New Century Park to find me. After dealing with Xiao Bu, Chen Ge started to inspect his own employees. When they were facing the shadow, all the employees in the backpack had volunteered to help. Now they were all injured. Fortunately, other than Xu Yin, the other people were not infected by the curse. OL, Bai, thank you for your help earlier. Bai Cholan was a gambler. He was cold on the outside but warm on the inside. Facing Chen Ge's gratitude, he did not know how to react. In the decades that he had been alive and dead, this was the first time he had heard someone say thank you to him. This feeling of being needed was not bad at all. It was just a convenience. Bai Cholan placed his hands in his pockets like he would be at a disadvantage if he spoke too much. Whether it was a convenience or not, if it wasn't for you, all of us would have been in trouble. Shu Yin stopped the shadow, and Bai Cholan led Chen Ge and the backpack away. The division of labor was clear. If one of them had failed, it would have been the shadow or Dr. Gao who would be standing there now. This high-intensity battle was beneficial for Bai Cholan. The red spot on his chest started to spread. He could now use 30% of Shangqing's power. Blood stains started to appear on the corner of his shirt and pants. Bai Cholan was moving toward becoming a red specter. Compared to Shu Yin, he was much more relaxed. He had Shangqing's heart, so there was no threshold. After consuming enough baleful specters, he would become a red specter. Actually, if he thought about it, Chen Ge had gained quite a lot from this mission. Shu Yin had officially become a red specter, Bai Cholan had become a half-red specter, and Zhangya had consumed the glutton monster's heart. Now, she had obtained half a heart that was suspected to be stronger than a red specter. When she woke up again, she would become even scarier. Most of his employees had gotten stronger, and Chen Ge had recruited a new batch of employees. They were rare spirits and baleful specters with special powers, and there was a red specter who had been reformed by Zhang Ya, the headless woman. The key was that Chen Ge had gained the friendship of Xiao Biyu and the Red Raincoat. In the future, Haunted House might gain 2 more red specters. If I compare my haunted house to a scary scenario, then its current level should be between 3 and 4 stars, perhaps even closer to 4 stars. After inspecting the baleful specters, Chen Ge went to look for the few living employees. If Haunted House wanted to grow, it would not be able to rely solely on baleful specters, so it needed a few living employees. The mixing of living employees and baleful specters would give the visitors a different feeling. Chen Ge found Scissors, the drunkard, the doctor, and the fainted Li Zheng on the first floor. "Where's Jia Ming?" Chen Ge was quite concerned about the young man who had been possessed by the shadow for many years. He had to know many secrets about the shadow. "When you were fighting, he dragged the police down the stairs. We saw that something was wrong, so we followed him down the stairs. When the shadow used all his power to summon the ghost baby, Scissors and the drunkard had regained their freedom, but there were still black threads that represented the curse lingering on their bodies." Chen Ge picked up the handcuffs on Li Zheng's wrists. Thankfully, to prevent Jia Ming from escaping, Li Zheng had handcuffed Chen Ge to himself, or else with Jia Ming's personality, he would not have dragged Li Zheng along with him to escape. That guy took the key and ran pretty fast. Jia Ming and the high schooler by the name of Beiyi had escaped. Chen Ge felt like he had to capture them because they had found out many things that they should not have known. That was the thought in his heart, but naturally, Chen Ge would not say it out loud before other living people. He used his yin-yang vision to inspect the few people's bodies, and he realized that they were not in good condition. There were black lines floating around their eyes like they had been cursed, and they looked very scary. Scissors and the drunkard were fine. They had drunk some blood vessels prepared for red specters at the hotel, and their bodies had changed slightly. Chen Ge could clearly feel that their body temperature was maintained at a relatively low range. The doctor, on the other hand, was in a worse state. The curse had mixed with the poison that he had drunk earlier, and his muscles had started to wither. Even though he could barely move, he looked like he had aged 10 years. "We've been through this together. You've found out many things about me, and I've found out the secrets in your hearts. Now that you're cursed, I can't just leave you be. How about this, you can stay at my place for now." After I help you completely remove the curse and heal your bodies, I'll send you away, Chen Ge said very responsibly. You don't have to take all the responsibility on yourself. It was our choice to enter Liwan City. Furthermore, if not for you, we would have died already. You've saved us many times, and we haven't repaid you enough, so how can we continue to trouble you? The drunkard had already sobered up, and he was very sober now. If the curse is not removed, your lives might be in danger. We've been through life and death together, and I can't just watch as you're tormented by your illness. Chen Ge had already summoned all his employees back, and he patted his backpack. We've always been saved by you, and now we have to stay at your place to trouble you again. That's too much for my conscience, Scissors suddenly said. How about this, if there's anything you need help with on your side, we'll do our best to help you. Don't reject us, that's the only thing we can do. Quote. Yes, you've helped us remove the curse from the shadow, so you've saved our lives again. The drunkard and the doctor also turned to look at Chen Ge. I own a haunted house, and the key thing is that I have more than enough manpower. As you've seen, I have the most professional actors. Chen Ge was clearly troubled. But we can't just stay and eat at your place for free. At least let us do something that's within our power. Quote. Since the drunkard and the rest had already said that, Chen Ge did not have the heart to reject them, so he could only, reluctantly, agree. Fine, but I'll say this first, if you come to my haunted house to help, I'll pay you the usual salary. After all, you have families to support, and you need to survive. This is my only request, so I hope you won't reject it. Hearing Chen Ge's words, Scissors and the rest felt a warmth in their hearts, and they sighed from the bottom of their hearts. Mr. Chen is such a good man. My haunted house is very famous in Zhejiang. You can search for it online, and you'll know that it offers the best treatment in the industry. When we return, I'll slowly train you, and hopefully, you'll fall in love with this job. Quote. After the baleful specters, Chen Ge gained 3 living employees, and these 3 were different from Xiao Jiyu and Xu Wan. They knew everything that had happened in Liwan City, and their mindset was different from normal people. Chen Ge did not worry about them entering the underground scenario. This world is not as simple as we think it is. The main reason I didn't want your help earlier is because of taken in some homeless specters, so. We understand. The few understood Chen Ge's meaning. After experiencing the strange things in Liwan City, they could understand Chen Ge's difficulty. That's good. Chen Ge arranged for Scissors and the rest to enter the underground scenario to deal with emergencies. As the haunted house continued to expand, the underground scenario became bigger, and the number of visitors increased. Chen Ge would not be able to handle all of them alone. After the sun rises, take a good rest and tell your family that you're safe. Chen Ge then turned to Scissors and the doctor. One of you is here to look for your brother, and the other is here to see his wife. In a bit, I'll bring you around Liwan City. Hopefully, you'll be able to find them. Hearing that Chen Ge was going to help him find his lost family, Scissors nodded heavily. The doctor's expression softened as if a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Scissors and the doctor were the only ones left at home, so they did not have to worry, but the drunkard was different. It was an accident that he had taken the bus to Liwan City, so in many ways, he was a normal person. My home is in Xinhai City. After the curse is controlled, I wish to go back. The drunkard scratched his head. Don't look at me like that. Actually, my family is quite rich, but after my mother passed away, my relationship with my father has been strained, so I've come to Zhejiang to make a living. After tonight, I've gotten over many things. I'm not that young anymore, so I wish to find a chance to talk to him. Quote. Rich second generation. Scissors and Chen Ge really did not expect the drunkard to have such a past. Don't you think it's rude to call someone a second-generation rich kid in front of them? The drunkard held his forehead. He already had a feeling that his future was going to be very exciting. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Zhang Jingju. My alcohol tolerance is very low, but my clients like to call me drunkard. I used to sell houses and was a liquor agent. My name was given by the orphanage. I don't like it, so you should just call me Scissors. Scissors and the drunkard gave a simple introduction, but when it was the doctor's turn, he shook his head like there was something that he could not say. Chen Ge did not dwell on this question. They followed Xiao Bu back to Liwan City to meet up with Fan Kong. Mr. Chen. Fan Kong was very happy to see Chen Ge, but other than that, there was also a trace of worry. He had no idea how his big brother, Fan Dade, was doing. Your big brother will be fine. After comforting Fan Kong, Chen Ge led the 3 living employees to walk around Liwan City. With the excuse of finding Scissors and the doctor's family, Chen Ge searched through the whole small town, but he did not find anything left behind by the Society of Strange Tales. The specters that stayed inside the buildings had silently left after the incident with the shadow. After searching for a long time, Scissors and the doctor still did not see the people that they wanted to see, and they were feeling quite down. The shadow has been killed. We can come back to this place often in the future. We'll run into them sooner or later. Chen Ge did not know whether it was a good idea to say that or not, but he believed that sometimes people lived for the sake of hope, so it was necessary to have that thought. Let's prepare to leave. We've stayed behind the door for a long time already. It's time to go out and take a look. The mission in Liwan City had given Chen Ge many rewards. Other than the unlocking of the scenario and the increase in his employees' power, he had also found out something about the 4-star scenario, the ghost fetus. The ghost baby that grew out from the shadow's chest was probably how the ghost fetus looked when it was born, and Chen Ge had memorized the baby's face in his heart. The group returned to the residential area where Fan Kong lived. Chen Ge had Xiao Bu prepare before opening the door while he placed the unconscious Li Zheng in the room next door. Then, he started to exchange information with Scissors and the rest. In terms of dealing with police interrogation, Chen Ge could be said to be a master. Inside an old building on the eastern side of Liwan City, a family of 3 was cornered in a corner. The man was in his 40s. He was squeezed together with a woman with a numb expression, and there was a little boy standing next to them. The shadow is already dead, so why are we still here? If you're interested in the 3 of them, just kill them. Or do you want to play a game of cat and mouse? Bai Yi squatted on the ground, holding the knife. Standing next to him was a tall and thin young man. I repeat, I'm different from you. Ji Yu Ming grabbed the boy's face to study it. Yes, it's him. What are you talking about? Bai Yi walked over, and that gave the boy quite a scare. The shadow has done many crazy things while possessing me, and because of that, I know many secrets about the shadow. He once tried to plant a part of his body into the mother's womb to test how many curses and resentment a living person could endure. In my memory, he has only succeeded twice. The first time was to create the ghost fetus, and the second time, he created this little monster. Ji Yu Ming looked at the boy and the numb woman with a scary gaze. Then, this boy is a part of the ghost fetus. Bai Yi had no idea what Ji Yu Ming was up to. He had agreed to cooperate with Ji Yu Ming because Ji Yu Ming knew many secrets. After the shadow succeeded, he retracted the curse and resentment, but even so, there must be some lingering power in this boy's body. He has the same curse as the ghost fetus, so he should be able to sense the ghost fetus's location. That alone is enough reason for us to take him away. Quote, are you sure? But doesn't this boy look a bit too normal? Quote, this normal look is the best disguise. If not for his mother, I really wouldn't have recognized him. Ji Yu Ming picked up the boy and told the couple, for the sake of this boy, I won't kill you, but I hope you'll listen to me and work with me to stimulate this boy so that he can learn how to control the curse and resentment in his heart." "No problem." The man agreed easily. He lowered his head, and venom flashed across his eyes. "Let's go. I know the existence of another door in eastern Zhejiang. We can leave from there." After saying that, Ji Yuming led the others into the blood fog. After going through the testimonies and making sure that there were no loopholes, Chen Ge gathered all the living people together. Xiao Bu opened the door. Other than the two arms, Xiao Bu had already found most of her body. Standing before the door, many bad memories surfaced in her mind. The blood fog in Liwan City was triggered, and it surged madly into the underground room. Something that looked like blood vessels reached out from the red ground and stuck into the half-open door. In about 10 seconds, the broken door was slowly mended, and only 2 holes were left. "Be ready, we only have 1 minute. If we don't leave by then, we'll have to wait until the next day." The thick blood fog disappeared the moment it touched the door, but the 2 holes were mending at a speed visible to the naked eye. The blood fog dissolved into blood vessels, and like a needle and thread, they temporarily closed the holes. When the 2 holes were closed, the whole door turned blood red, and it was slowly pulled open. It was obvious that opening a door that had gone out of control took a lot out of Xiao Bu, so Chen Ge and the rest perked up. The blood-red door was connected to the ground, and the blood vessels on the door appeared to come alive. They could hear strange noises coming from the buildings on the ground. Under such circumstances, the door was fully opened. Quick! The drunkard carried Li Jung out first, followed by the doctor and Fan Kong. Chen Ge carried the 2 bags and stood at the back. Before he left, he glanced at Xiao Bu. "If you run into something that you can't handle, remember to come find me. I'm at Western Zhejiang's New Century Park." Stepping out from the door was like crawling out from the deep sea. There was a temporary sense of weightlessness, and the eyes were not used to it. They only returned to normal after several minutes. When Chen Ge opened his eyes again, the door behind him had already closed, and the few of them were squeezed inside the cramped underground room. "Hey, wake up!" Quote. After escaping from a world filled with negative emotions, the group felt like they had survived a disaster. For a normal person, that night was indeed too exciting. Do not tell anyone about what happened on the other side of the door. If the police ask about it, do you remember what to say? Don't worry. The group crawled out from Zhang Long's basement and went to the bathroom. The glass that was smashed by Chen Ge last time had not been repaired, so the community had only hung a wooden sign on it. "In a bit, I'll go find the police. You guys should go back to your own homes. If everything goes well, we'll meet at the entrance of the haunted house at Western Zhejiang's New Century Park this afternoon." Chen Ge carried Li Jung on his back. This criminal police officer had saved him before. Now that he was in trouble, Chen Ge would definitely not leave him in the lurch. "Wait a minute." Fan Kong was a little embarrassed. "Mr. Chen, can I go with you? First, I'm worried about my brother. Second, I really don't dare to go home now. What if there's a murderer waiting for me in the house, or something suddenly pops out from under the bed?" Tonight's encounter had left a deep psychological scar on Fan Kong. He probably wouldn't even dare to casually play online games now. "Okay, then you can follow me for now. If you can't find a job, you can come to my haunted house to help out." He had worked together with Fan Kong before. Even though the rotund otaku did not have any special talents, he was a kind person. After leaving Zhang Long's home, the phone in Chen Ge's pocket kept vibrating. The signal had returned. Both the black phone and his own phone had received many messages, but now was not the time to look at them. The rain had stopped after a whole night, but the dark clouds had not dissipated, and there was still a drizzle falling from the sky. "The phone is working fine now. It's now 5:30 a.m. We'll gather at noon." We should take this opportunity to rest. Then, Chen Ge carried Li Jung and headed deeper into Liwan City. Mr. Chen, why are you still heading deeper into the city? Is there anything we can help with? Scissors was very friendly. He could see the shadow of his brother in Chen Ge, and that was a feeling of sincerity. I'll go see if the hearse on Route 104 is still there. Liwan City is too secluded, so it's not easy to get a taxi. How about we drive the hearse away? Chen Ge's tone was light, like he was talking about something normal. You want to drive the hearse away? Thinking about it, it made sense, but he still felt uneasy. Something was not right. It would be a waste not to drive it. The shadow used it to trick us. Now that the shadow is dead, we should inherit its things. Chen Ge said sincerely. There is no good or evil in things, it depends on the user. As long as the user has a good heart, everything will be fine. But, won't we be stopped by the police if we drive the hearse on the road? The doctor was still more rational. That's why we need to leave before the sun comes up. While they were talking, Chen Ge had reached the spot where the hearse was parked, but to his surprise, the hearse had disappeared. Is it because I drove the car into the world behind the door? Is the hearse still inside the door? Chen Ge was confused. Based on his knowledge, the blood door should have a greater influence on living humans and specters, but this was not the case. Is it because the hearse is special? Or do I not know enough about the door? Chen Ge made up his mind. When the door went out of control, he would try to find a way to drive the hearse back out. Seeing the hearse disappear, the drunkard and the doctor sighed in relief. At least they did not need to take the hearse home. They walked down the road for a long time before they saw a taxi. The driver only saw them carrying a fainted police officer after he stopped the car, and his hair stood on end. Sir, there are so many of us. You don't mind if we squeeze together, right? I don't mind, I don't mind. Where are you going? We'll send them home first, and then we'll go to the station. Okay, okay. It was unclear whether it was due to fear or something else, but the driver drove very fast. After sending Scissors and the rest home, the sky finally brightened. Fan Kong had fallen asleep in the front seat, Li Jung was still unconscious, and only Chen Ge was conscious in the back. He looked at the scenery that kept retreating outside the window and took out the black phone. He swiped the screen and clicked on the message. Congratulations, Spectre's favored. You've completed the 3.5-star trial mission, Liwan City. Mission completion rate is 94%. Obtained hidden item, the mayor's will. Liwan City is a small town held in the palm of the devil's hand. Only those who are crueler than a cold-blooded murderer, scarier than a despairing specter, and the most despicable, cunning, and greedy will be able to obtain this reward. The mayor's will. Congratulations for becoming the new owner of the small town. After the haunted house breaks through the level of the maze of terror and reaches a new level, you will be given a chance to open a branch in Liwan City. After you meet the requirements, the reward will be officially unlocked. Quote. Seeing the message on the phone, Chen Ge was dumbfounded. I've almost dug 3 feet into Liwan City, and the completion rate is still not 100%. Other than that, the reward for this mission is quite unique. After 2 more expansions, Haunted House would reach the new level. In other words, Chen Ge would be able to use the mayor's will to open branches in other cities. This is a form of insurance, but for now, I only need to focus on managing the haunted house at New Century Park. After I find my parents and everything is stable, I'll make other plans. Chen Ge swiped the screen and clicked on the other messages. Congratulations, Spectre's favored. You've completed the 3.5-star trial mission. A new scenario, Liwan City, has been officially unlocked. Liwan City 3.5-star scenario. This scenario consists of Liwan City's residential area, Liwan Private Hospital, the junction, Smiling Dog, the elevator on the 2nd floor, midnight hotel, and so on. Due to the large size of this scenario, please choose carefully whether to open it to the public. Congratulations, specters favored. You've successfully saved 4 innocent people. Obtained additional reward, Jack the Ripper outfit. He is the world's most famous murderer, but at the same time, other than his dead body, he left behind no evidence. Even his race and gender are a mystery that cannot be determined. Jack the Ripper outfit, foggy city coat. This coat can hide your face, your body, and all the crimes that you've committed. Jack the Ripper outfit, black envelope. The Ripper once left his signature and sealed the victim's organs in an envelope to be mailed to the local newspaper. Jack the Ripper outfit, lucky scissors. This bloodied pair of scissors has nothing to do with luck, but it is named lucky. Jack the Ripper outfit's special effect, surgery. On a foggy night, the outfit's effect will be activated. Perfect removal of organs requires rich surgery experience, and you will inherit that cruel talent. Seeing that he had saved 4 innocent people, Chen Ge sighed in relief. These 4 corresponded to Fan Kong's group. After confirming that they were innocent, Chen Ge allowed them to work at the haunted house. Counting the Dr. Skullcracker's outfit and the faceless nurse's outfit, this Jack the Ripper is the 3rd outfit that I've owned. Looking at the hammer in his backpack, Chen Ge knew that these outfits were not simple. The biggest difference between them and the actors' outfits at a normal haunted house was that they were probably real. Lucky scissors, after I inspect this, I can let scissors use it first. He should like this character. Putting the black phone away, Chen Ge had a satisfied smile on his face. Other than the reward from the black phone, he had gotten many other good things from Liwan City. Yan Danian's comic was already full, and the old employees were working overtime to train the new employees. With so many lingering spirits and baleful specters, it should be enough to fill up the whole scenario. Chen Ge started to imagine how to combine the crazy game that the boss had taught him with the haunted house visit. He was so engrossed in his thoughts that he found himself at the police station. As soon as Chen Ge got out of the car, he immediately attracted the guard's attention. When the guard saw Chen Ge carrying Li Jung out of the car, he immediately ran over. Inspector Li, he's fine. He just fainted. You've already fainted and you're saying it's not a big deal. Why didn't you send him to the hospital? The guard shouted loudly, scaring the people who came to report the case. Hearing the voice, the police on duty in the house also ran out. Chen Ge was also stunned by the guard's words. He knew what had happened and knew that sending Li Jung to the hospital would not help much, so he decided to send him directly to the police station. After all, he had been to this place many times, so out of habit, he told the driver to take him to the police station. This is what Inspector Li told me before he fainted. Other than Captain Yan, he doesn't trust anyone, so he told me to personally bring him to Captain Yan. Chen Ge carried Li Jung on his back and did not let anyone else touch him. Okay, you go to the hospital first. You go with him, I'll contact Captain Yan now. With the arrangement from the police station, Chen Ge's group was sent to the People's Hospital. Chen Ge was very familiar with this place. Li Jung was sent to the emergency room for a checkup, and Chen Ge waited in the corridor. About half an hour later, Captain Yan arrived. This easy-going police officer looked much more haggard than before. Captain Yan, Inspector Li is inside the room. He's still unconscious. Chen Ge and Fan Kong stood up immediately. What happened last night? Where did you find Li Jung? Captain Yan did not seem to have slept the whole night, so he was not in a good condition. We found Inspector Li in Liwan City. He was chasing after the fugitive, Jia Ming, on his own. Chen Ge knew that the more he spoke, the more likely he would be to make a mistake, so he only gave Captain Yan the basic information. This is strange, why would Li Jung act alone? He even lost contact with us during this period. I can't believe an officer with more than 10 years of experience would do something like this. From Captain Yan's expression, compared to capturing Jia Ming, Captain Yan was more worried about Li Jung. Perhaps there's something wrong with the suspect. He doesn't look like a normal person. Chen Ge looked at the stainless steel teacup next to him and whispered. Captain Yan's expression changed. He obviously knew something. Chen Ge saw it clearly through the reflection on the stainless steel teacup. Okay, I'll deal with this. You two go and give me your statement. Okay. In Liwan City, Chen Ge had found out from Li Jung that Captain Yan had a powerful background, and the short conversation earlier had confirmed that. However, Captain Yan had been on Chen Ge's side and seemed to admire him a lot. He had helped him many times, so Chen Ge did not think too much about it. During the statement, Fan Kong also found out about his brother, Fan Dade, from the police. The previous night, Fan Dade had gotten into a car accident on his way home. He had only suffered minor injuries, but the person who had hit him had died on the spot. It felt like a third party had been behind the wheel of the car. Knowing that his brother was fine, Fan Kong's heart finally relaxed. After the statement, he went to find his brother. Chen Ge asked the police, and after confirming that everything was fine, he returned to New Century Park. He hurried and finally arrived before the opening of the amusement park. Boss, what have you been doing tonight? Xiao Jiyu and Xu Wan had been waiting at the door for a long time. How come you're always the last one to show up? I woke up early and went to the job market to interview a few new employees. They'll be here this afternoon. Chen Ge pushed open the gate. Don't waste time. Go to the dressing room and get ready to work. The period before the futuristic theme park opened would be the last development period for Chen Ge's haunted house, and now was the calm before the storm. The park opened at 9 a.m., and the visitors swarmed in. A long line formed at the entrance to the haunted house, and a large group of haunted house fans gathered at the resting hall. They had obviously treated Chen Ge's place as their base. Most of the employees in the backpack were injured and recovering, so Chen Ge had to do it himself. However, he was only one person, and he did not have many employees. This lowered the difficulty of some scenarios. As the number of people cleared, the scenario increased, the visitors became more excited, and they clamored to conquer the haunted house. Seeing such energetic visitors, Chen Ge was happy for them from the bottom of his heart. The more people who clear a 3-star scenario, the more people who can challenge a 3.5-star scenario. Looks like I need to finish building Liwan City as soon as possible. I have a haunted house. I have a haunted house. Chen Ge busied himself. He had been on the run for the whole night and did not have a good rest in the morning. By noon, he felt like he could not take it anymore. Opening his backpack, Chen Ge released Lao Zhou and the rest. He picked a few employees who were in good condition and had them enter the underground scenario to take care of the scenario's basic operations. Other than Xu Yin, the other employees were not cursed. Most of them were nourished by the blood fog and gained some benefits. When their injuries recovered, their power level would increase significantly. Scaring the visitors today is secondary. Take care of yourself and recover as soon as possible. Chen Ge volunteered to ask the employees to go easy on him. Even though the employees did not understand why, they did as they were told. At 12:30 p.m., Xiao Jiyu and Xu Wan took turns to rest for half an hour. Most of the visitors left for lunch, and the line outside the haunted house decreased. Seeing the decrease in the number of visitors outside the haunted house, 2 men walked over. One of them had bandages wrapped around his face, and the other had his back straight. He was wearing a suit, and his expression was nervous. "Excuse me, are Chen Ge and Mr. Chen inside?" The man in the suit found Xu Xu, who was buying tickets at the door. "Your visitors, or the visitors' families." Xu Xu saw the bandages on one of the men's faces, and his heart skipped a beat. He thought that it was Chen Ge who had caused trouble. "We're here to work. Mr. Chen should have told you about us, right? New employees. Sure, wait here, I'll give him a call. Quote. Several minutes later, Chen Ge came out from the room. He was surprised to see the two people before him. They were completely different from his impression of them. Half of Scissors' face was wrapped in bandages. He was tall and thin, and his skin was startlingly white. He seemed like he had not been exposed to the sun for a long time. He did not give off the feeling of a madman but a seriously ill person. The drunkard, Zhang Jingju, was the complete opposite of Scissors. After a shower, he put on a suit. He looked like a successful man full of energy. Perfect timing. There aren't that many visitors now, so I'll show you around. Chen Ge welcomed them into the haunted house. By the way, where's the doctor? Didn't you come along? Quote. After you left, we exchanged phone numbers, but we couldn't get through to the doctor. At the mention of the doctor, Zhang Jingzhou's expression changed slightly. I don't know if something happened to him or if there was some other reason. I even purposely went to his house to take a look. After asking the neighbors, I realized that it was not his house at all. So the doctor is missing. Chen Ge thought for a while and nodded lightly. It doesn't matter. I trust him. We'll live and die together. He might have his own difficulties if he doesn't come. Actually, it was not that he had faith in the doctor, he just trusted the black phone's judgment more. The doctor was not a simple person, but he did not have the intention to harm anyone. Leading the two employees into the haunted house, Chen Ge gave them a brief introduction of the various scenarios. Scissors and the drunkard were different from Xiao Jiyu. Chen Ge planned to train them from all aspects, unlike Xiao Jiyu and Xu Wan, who were responsible for a single scenario. After we open for business in the afternoon, the two of you will follow the visitors and experience all the scenarios at my haunted house starting from the one-star scenarios. Chen Ge used the kindest expression to say something that Scissors and the drunkard still had no idea how cruel it was. You'll be working here in the future, so you mustn't be afraid. Don't worry, we'll try our best. Scissors and the drunkard promised very well. Perhaps from their perspective, they had already escaped from a place like Liwan City, so what was there to be afraid of in this world? Okay, this afternoon, just treat yourselves as the visitors and experience the scenarios to your heart's content. Chen Ge did not give Scissors and the drunkard any specific tasks. He merely allowed them to visit the haunted house. This was also a way for them to grow faster. The lunch break soon passed, and Scissors and the drunkard welcomed the most unforgettable day of their lives. Listening to the screams coming from the scenario, Chen Ge scratched his chin. They're too cowardly. They can't be haunted house workers. Instead of scaring the visitors, they might end up being scared by their own colleagues. Liwan City's scenario is about to be opened, so I have to train these two as soon as possible. Quote. When Chen Ge was thinking, Shu Shu's voice came from outside. Chen Ge quickly ran out. Shu Shu and Director Luo stood behind the door like they had something to discuss with Chen Ge. Director Luo, why have you come here in person? Chen Ge was quite surprised. Has the futuristic theme park pulled some big trick again? The futuristic theme park is still in the midst of promotion. I'm here to discuss something else with you. Director Luo waved at Chen Ge, and the two walked to a corner with fewer people. Chen Ge, I saw the app that we've created earlier. Many visitors have already cleared 3-star scenarios, and some of them are even close to clearing all the scenarios. If this continues, your haunted house will be completely conquered before the futuristic theme park opens for business. At that time, the attraction of your haunted house to the visitors will be greatly reduced. Combined with the interference from the futuristic theme park, the situation will become very disadvantageous. Director Luo had been in the business world for many years. He looked like a gentleman on the surface, but he was actually an old fox. Our theme park's biggest attraction is this haunted house that no one has been able to clear, so I hope you can increase the difficulty of all the scenarios. I know this is a challenge for you, but we have no other choice but to do it. So, that's why you're here. Chen Ge did not expect Director Luo to have the same thought as him. Don't worry, I'm purposely going easy on you today. Purposely going easy on you? But increasing the number of people clearing the scenario isn't a good thing for us. Director Luo trusted Chen Ge, but he could not think of a reason why Chen Ge would do something like that. Yes, if the number of people clearing 3-star scenarios increases, the number of visitors who will be able to experience higher star scenarios will increase. If there is no challenge for a new scenario, it won't be fun, and it won't be good for our promotion, Chen Ge said calmly. A new scenario? Director Luo instantly found the key point in Chen Ge's words. You've finished building the new scenario? Most of the equipment and concepts were prepared by my parents before this. I'm just assembling them together. But don't worry, this scenario will be scarier than all the previous scenarios. Chen Ge looked at Director Luo. Without saying anything else, the two shared a smile. Okay, then we'll do as you say. If there's anything you need, just tell me. I'll try my best to help you. Director Luo's mood improved. He grabbed the document and left. With such a dedicated boss at the theme park, the visitors won't have to worry about finding happiness. Chen Ge returned to the haunted house. He ran both above and below the haunted house. As he supervised Scissors and Zhang Jingju, he was responsible for the safety of the visitors inside the scenarios. At 6:30 p.m., the haunted house sent away the last batch of visitors. Chen Ge had Xu Wan and Xiao Jiyu go home first while he walked to the stairs. Scissors and Zhang Jingju were lying on the ground, and their minds were wavering. Actually, they remembered clearly that they had fainted inside one of the scenarios. Just as they were thankful that they did not have to experience it anymore, when they opened their eyes, they realized that they were still inside the haunted house, and when they looked at their phones, they realized that only 10 minutes had passed. After going back and forth several times, their bodies had gained a certain resistance to fear. Even though they were scared to death, their minds were still clear. How do you feel? Chen Ge handed them a bottle of mineral water. He had trained Scissors and the drunkard as his employees. To prevent any accidents from happening to them, he had purposely ordered Dr. Wei to follow them to protect them. I can't tell you, but I feel like no matter how big the problem is in the future, I'll be able to smile through it. Zhang Jingju had a high level of self-awareness. His hands were shaking as he tried to twist open the bottle, but he failed multiple times. What about you? Scissors. How come I feel like Li Wan City is more suitable for me? Perhaps there's a madman hiding inside my heart? Scissors held his face. Before he arrived, he really did not expect Chen Ge's haunted house to be so scary. The wounds that had almost healed on his face started to bleed. Very good. You've experienced it once from the perspective of a visitor. Now, I'll bring you to experience it again from the perspective of a worker. Chen Ge stood up and pushed a cart from the resting hall. Again, Scissors and Zhang Jingju leaned against each other. If you have trouble moving, I can push you in. Don't worry, it's very safe. I've been operating this place for almost 10 years, and nothing has happened. With Chen Ge's persuasion, Scissors and Zhang Jingju entered the haunted house again. However, this time, it was different from when they visited the haunted house on their own. Chen Ge started to teach them some real techniques to scare visitors. Haunted house actors rarely have lines, so acting skills are even more important. You need to be completely immersed in the role and allow that presence to flow naturally from the inside out. From how to choose the best spot to ambush the visitors to first aid knowledge like chest compressions, from the usage of the small program to twisted psychology, Scissors and Zhang Jingju finally understood how many skills one needed to master to become a haunted house actor. It's getting late. You should go back and rest. Come back early tomorrow. I'll arrange some things for you to do so that you can truly experience the charm of being a haunted house actor." After Scissors and Zhang Jingju left, Chen Ge gave each of them a red packet. It was the compensation for their overtime. After a day and night without rest, Chen Ge's body had reached its limit. He set a watch and went to sleep. At 4 a.m. the next day, Chen Ge was woken up by the alarm. He hugged the white cat that had crawled onto his pillow and hurriedly opened the black phone. 3.5-star scenario. Liwan City. Completed. Warning: the haunted house's internal space is full. Please start the expansion as soon as possible. Another expansion. Just how big is Liwan City? Chen Ge's haunted house had already been upgraded into a maze of terror. After 2 more expansions, it would advance to the next stage. I'll think about that when I have the ability. For now, I'll go take a look at the new scenario. The earlier the new scenario was open, the better it would be for Chen Ge. He put on his clothes, grabbed his backpack, and headed underground. The road that led to Liwan City was next to Coffin Village. The 2 scenarios were right next to each other, but this scenario was bigger than both Coffin Village and the 3rd Sick Hall combined. It's next to the small lake where the water ghost is and the tunnel that leads to who knows where. Next to it is Coffin Village, as well as the hospital and the school. This is a fully functional underground town. Walking down the street, the buildings around Chen Ge all extended underground. There were no buildings, only lights on the 2nd and 3rd floors. Most of the basements were connected, so the interior was very complicated. Out of consideration for the visitors' safety, Chen Ge inspected all the buildings seriously. Just walking through the whole place took 1 hour. This scenario was indeed a bit over the top. There are benefits to having a big place. I can do whatever I want. Chen Ge summoned all his employees and started to modify the scenario. For example, he removed some of the sharp and dangerous objects and placed the trained employees in fixed locations. The hotel, the hospital, and the residential area are the 3 main scenarios, but the number of ghosts is still too small. When the sun rises, I can have Scissors and Zhang Jingju come in as guests. Other than that, I still need to order a batch of mannequins. The scariest part of the hotel was the hidden room behind the fridge. Unfortunately, the glutton monster had been killed, so a large part of the scary factor had been lost. Chen Ge was trying to come up with a solution. He planned to give Liwan City a high degree of restoration, to create an atmosphere where murderers roamed the streets and ghosts lurked at every corner. The other scenarios only have a few or 10 scare points, but I've set up more than 10 scare points in Liwan City. I wonder if the visitors can handle such a high frequency. Chen Ge was satisfied with his setup in Liwan City. He busied himself until 8 a.m. before leaving. When he went in, the comic was filled to the brim, but when he exited, the comic was almost empty. Yesterday, so many people cleared the 3-star scenario. While they're being careless, I'll announce the opening of the 3.5-star scenario today. There will definitely be people willing to challenge it. If I'm lucky, I might run into some troublemakers, and it'll be even better if there are employees from the futuristic theme park among them. Quote. Walking out from the underground scenario, Chen Ge took a cold shower and then opened the door to prepare for business. Today was Scissors and Zhang Jingzhou's first official day at work, so they arrived early. Boss, there's something I need to report to you. Zhang Jingzhou was still in his suit, and he looked very formal. I still haven't managed to contact the doctor. It's like he's disappeared. I know. Let's leave him for now. Chen Ge led the 2 into the dressing room. There's no need to be so formal. Feel free to take a seat. Just treat this as your own home. Using mortician's makeup, Chen Ge showed off his excellent makeup skills to the 2 new employees. This surprised Zhang Jingzhou and Scissors. Their boss was an all-rounder. To open a haunted house, one has to know how to put on makeup, Chen Ge modeled Zhang Jingju on the appearance of the hotel owner in Liwan City. Then he found the Jack the Ripper outfit in the props room and handed it to Scissors. Your character is a crazed murderer. I've seen more than 10 different crazies. In a bit, I'll write down their unique traits for you. Hopefully, it'll give you some inspiration. After Scissors changed into the Jack the Ripper outfit, Chen Ge did not think much of it, but Zhang Jingju subconsciously moved to the side. This outfit matches you quite well. The trench coat covered his face, and the bloody scissors could be vaguely seen under the wide sleeves. From afar, it gave off a very strange feeling. He was standing far away, but it felt like he was closing the distance at any moment, as if he would leap at Chen Ge at any moment. I'll find you a pair of shoes when we get back. Your shoes are affecting your overall presence. Overall, Chen Ge was quite satisfied with Scissors' outfit. Different from Xiao Jiyu, Scissors had studied how to play the role of a madman through movies and television dramas. He had even experienced an actual battle in Liwan City. Now, be it his presence or demeanor, he was very similar to a real madman. It was hard to describe, but it was a feeling that could trigger fear in one's heart. After a while, Xu Wan and Xiao Jiyu arrived. In the dressing room, Chen Ge officially introduced them. We'll be colleagues from now on, so we have to help each other. Xu Wan is my most experienced employee, so if there's anything you don't understand, you can ask her. After helping Xu Wan and Xiao Jiyu with their makeup, Chen Ge led them into their respective scenarios to prepare. Then, he took out a walkie-talkie and earpiece from the main control room and handed them to Zhang Jingju and Scissors. There are cameras in the control room. If there's an emergency, I'll give you orders through the walkie-talkie. Now, you two should follow me into the scenario. Chen Ge led the two into Liwan City. Walking down the eerie street, Scissors and Zhang Jingju were shocked, but due to their trust in Chen Ge, they did not ask too many questions. Jingju, just stay inside the hotel and act like the boss. You still need to train your scaring skills, so don't go and provoke the visitors. Chen Ge was confident in his own haunted house, so he knew that the visitors who could clear 3-star scenarios were not easy to deal with. Then, what am I supposed to do here? Zhang Jingju rubbed his palms together. This was his first day at work, so he was quite excited. Just listen to me. I'll arrange some tasks for you. After saying that, Chen Ge turned to Scissors. For now, stay close to the residential area. Feel free to do whatever you want, but remember to pay attention to 3 things. 1. Do not come into physical contact with the visitors. 2. The safety of the visitors is the most important. 3. Remember to protect yourself. Protect myself? A bad feeling rose in Scissors' heart. After settling the two of them down, Chen Ge walked out from the underground scenario. He had purposely changed into a new set of clothes. He looked clean and tidy, like the sunny boy next door. Chen Ge had just walked out of the haunted house when he saw Shu Shu standing at the door. He walked up to greet him warmly. Shu Shu, why are you here so early today? Director Luo said that you might have some new ideas recently and asked me to try my best to cooperate with you. When Shu Shu saw Chen Ge's outfit, for some reason, he suddenly felt uneasy. This is a crucial moment in the competition between us and the futuristic theme park. You'd better not do anything that is too overboard. Don't worry. Chen Ge gave a simple reply to Shu Shu. Then he pulled out the wooden bed board that he had placed in the resting hall earlier. When Coffin Village was first opened, he had written the information about Coffin Village on the back of this board, and now that the new scenario was open, he planned to write it again. If I name the scenario Liwan City directly, it might attract the dissatisfaction of the locals. Why don't I just use the name as a gimmick? Chen Ge wrote down the word, small town, and then leaned the bedboard against the ticket counter. It was simple and direct, but that was Chen Ge's style. You're planning to open a new scenario. When Shu Shu saw the two words that Chen Ge had written on the door, he frowned. Chen Ge was opening new scenarios too quickly, and the logistics were not ready yet. Yes, but it's not that scary. It can be considered a transitional scenario. The difficulty is only 3.5 star. It's mainly to prepare for the 4-star scenario. Chen Ge took out his phone and logged into the haunted house app created by the theme park. He made the announcement, opening of a new scenario. When fear seeped into one's bones and the nightmare became reality, one would realize that one could not find the way out of this small town. Several minutes after Chen Ge made the announcement, it had already been viewed 3,000 times. In fact, some curious people even shared the news of the opening of the new haunted house scenario on various social media platforms. The comments kept increasing, and with each refresh, the whole page would be covered with new comments. Didn't you just open a new scenario a few days ago? I feel like I just came back from your place. Don't tempt me. Like a sow? That's enough. Secretary Liu, book me a ticket back to China immediately. Wake up, it's time to move bricks. This introduction is so general, I'm curious, what's the theme of the new scenario? Laughing at the brothers above, testing the waters at the edge of death. Here's an advertisement. Students who like haunted house, please consider coming to Western Zhejiang Medical University. The theme park officially opened at 9 a.m. Once the door opened, many young people rushed toward the haunted house. Whenever I see the enthusiasm of the visitors, I feel like I'm so lucky to have a job like this. Chen Ge helped Shu Shu buy the ticket at the entrance of the haunted house. Most of the visitors who rushed over were visiting low-star scenarios. Since it was their first time, they were extremely excited. Chen Ge's target was the experienced visitors who had cleared 3-star scenarios. These people had been trained to be sly. Even if they arrived early, they would not rush to line up. They would go to the resting hall first and observe for a while. Even though Chen Ge had not been live streaming recently and had not released any videos, most people who had read up on Haunted House knew who he was. After all, when people searched online for the last person they wanted to run into at the haunted house, the first answer was not a baleful specter but Mr. Chen. Of course, this was probably a prank by the netizens. Seeing Chen Ge buy the ticket, many visitors surrounded him. They realized that the Chen Ge in their imagination was completely different from the Chen Ge in real life. How could this boy with a comforting smile be the last person they wanted to run into at the haunted house? There's no need to rush. There are many scenarios, so let's take it slow. Ever since the haunted house became popular, Director Luo had been worried about Chen Ge. He even gave him a QR code. With a scan, he would know whether the visitor could visit the corresponding scenario or not. It was very convenient. When it was almost 10 p.m., the first batch of visitors had finished their visit. The experienced visitors who were still waiting finally could not hold it in anymore. They walked out of the resting hall and started to line up. There are quite a few familiar faces today. Is it because the new scenario is open? Chen Ge saw all this, and he maintained the smile on his face. He hoped that more people would like his work. More and more visitors came to ask Chen Ge about the new scenario, and Chen Ge was more than happy to share some irrelevant information with them. He knew what the visitors liked and pursued, and the information that he revealed was like delicious bait, scratching at the visitors' hearts. Mr. Chen, we meet again. How come I feel like you've gotten younger? The woman standing before Chen Ge had short hair. Her androgynous outfit made her look more handsome than most men, and her voluptuous figure gave her a feminine charm. That's something you usually use to fool middle-aged men. Do I look that old? The woman could be considered a friend of Chen Ge's. Her name was Yi Shaoxin, and she was a haunted house reviewer online. She had more than 1 million followers. When Tian Tang Medical School came to cause trouble, she had entered Chen Ge's haunted house to take a look, and after she left,
she had shut herself away.
I'm not one to compliment others, but you really do give me the feeling that you've gotten younger. Yi Shaoxin took out her phone. Give me a ticket to the underground morgue. I plan to review that scenario today. Underground morgue. The disappointment on Chen Ge's face was undisguised. Do you want to consider my new scenario? It's very exciting. No, I'll wait until there's a guide online. Yi Shaoxin shook her head, and then she seemed to remember something. By the way, there's a group of guides online that are posting pictures of your haunted house's interior. Are you going to do something about it? I suspect someone is purposely messing with you. That's not bad. It's like helping me advertise for free. Chen Ge had the phone spirit, but there were too many scenarios, and Tong Tong could not manage them all. Of course, that had to do with him going easy on her. The haunted house was still growing rapidly, and there was bound to be a fierce battle with the futuristic theme park. Before the outcome was decided, popularity was the most important thing for him. If he really wanted to interfere, it would not be that difficult. After all, his employees were different from the employees of other haunted houses. You need to pay more attention. Some people won't be able to defeat you directly, so they will use different methods. Yi Shaoxin lowered her voice. When I was queuing up, I saw a man in the lounge. Keep an eye out for him. Yi Shaoxin took out her phone and showed Chen Ge a photo. In the photo, there was a man wearing a coat. It was very hot outside, but he didn't feel hot at all. He was talking on the phone with someone with a smile on his face. This person looks refined. He doesn't look like a bad person. Don't be fooled by his face. If you frequent the haunted house-related forums, you'll notice that the man has been on many haunted houses blacklists. Yi Shaoxin stood to the side. She did not want to delay the other visitors. He is not just brave anymore. The man has a mental problem. He is an exhibitionist, and the most speechless thing is that he likes to go to the haunted house to harass the workers. He has made several female workers cry before. Is it that excessive? Yes, because of this, he was detained several times, but he refused to repent. Yi Shaoxin sighed. He knows the rules of the haunted house. He knows that the workers can't physically attack him, but he doesn't do anything to them. He only exposes to satisfy his perverted desire. Furthermore, the man is very clever. He purposely finds places without surveillance. The few times he was detained were because some of the visitors could not stand it anymore and beat him up. This kind of person needs to be educated, and he needs a deep education. The workers could not physically attack, but the visitors could. From how Chen Ge saw it, there were many ways to solve this problem. All right, just be careful. I'll be going in now. Yi Shaoxin followed the other visitors into the haunted house. Chen Ge used his yin-yang vision to look at the lounge. The gentle-looking man was still on the phone, but Chen Ge noticed that when he was on the phone, his eyes kept darting around like he was looking for something. With him as the center, Chen Ge looked around. He realized that in the blind spot of the man in the jacket, there was another man who was also on the phone. The man was wearing a sun hat. His skin was fair, and he looked rather feminine. An accomplice. Just as Chen Ge turned to look at the man in the jacket hung up the phone and walked out from the lounge. Coincidentally, the man also hung up the phone and started to line up. The two acted like they did not know each other. One walked to the end of the line, and the other walked to the middle. Are they from the futuristic theme park? Even though knowing one's enemy was the key to victory, Chen Ge believed that he had left a deep psychological scar on the people from the futuristic theme park, so they probably would not come to cause trouble again. Chen Ge paid close attention to them. The line that was supposed to be fine suddenly became chaotic after the two walked in. 3 of them moved and gathered together. They came prepared. The commotion in the line attracted the dissatisfaction of some of the visitors. One of the hot-tempered people yelled, "Why are you cutting the line? Get lost." The voice was loud, and it instantly attracted everyone's attention. The one who yelled was a middle-aged man about 1.5 meters tall. His outfit did not match his temper at all. "Mr. Shinozaki, calm down. We're here to relax and find inspiration. There's no need to argue with others." There was a woman in her 20s standing next to the middle-aged man. She appeared to be his assistant. The woman seemed to have gotten used to this. She apologized to the visitors next to her. "Mr. Shinozaki, a foreigner?" Before Chen Ge could say anything, the man called Shinozaki started to argue with someone in fluent Chinese. Letting Shu Shu continue to buy tickets, Chen Ge ran over. "Stop arguing. Who was the one cutting the line earlier?" Seeing the haunted house boss, the two sides stopped arguing. It was him. He was the one cutting the line. "I'm telling you, if not for the rule of law, I would have thrown a punch at him already." The middle-aged man who was 1.5 meters tall had a bad temper. Understood. Chen Ge looked at the man who had cut the line. He was standing next to the man in the sun hat, so they were obviously in cahoots. "If you wish to continue the tour, please stand at the back of the line." There was no hesitation in Chen Ge's tone. The man was obviously not convinced, but with his friend's persuasion, he obediently moved to the back of the line. "Okay, it's fine now." Chen Ge was still paying attention to the back of the line, but the middle-aged man felt like he had been ignored, and he was not satisfied. He yelled at Chen Ge, "The line is so long on such a hot day. Do you have a VIP channel? I'll pay you extra, okay? I'm sorry, but it's the same for everyone here." "Fine, you have your principles. I'm not going to tour the haunted house today. Everyone is going against me." The man didn't know why he was so angry. He turned around and walked out. "Wait a minute. Mr. Shinozaki. This haunted house is not normal. We're already at the entrance. At least go in and take a look." The young female assistant first tried to persuade the middle-aged man before running to Chen Ge's side. "Boss, can we please make an exception?" The female assistant looked at Chen Ge with pleading eyes. "Mr. Shinozaki is a comic artist. He has been lacking inspiration for the last few months, so his temper has gotten worse. He wasn't like this before." "A comic artist? Is he famous? How come I haven't heard of him before?" Chen Ge was instantly reminded of Yan Danian. Perhaps he could use this opportunity to realize Yan Danian's dream. The female assistant blushed. "Mr. Shinozaki is a comic artist overseas. He is very famous in the industry, but in recent years, he has started to change his profession. In any case, he is a very impressive person." Chen Ge nodded and purposely raised his voice. "It's fine if you don't want to queue here. Now that the new scenario is open, those who want to go to the new scenario can come with me to visit it." New scenario? The female assistant did not dare make the decision, so she turned to look at the middle-aged man. "I thought you had your principles, but once you heard my name, you changed your mind. Fine, I'll give you a way out." The middle-aged man walked back slowly. "Let's go to the new scenario." Seeing that the middle-aged man could enter without queuing, another person at the end of the line stepped forward. "I want to visit the new scenario as well." The man was wearing a trench coat. The temperature outside was high, and there was no air conditioning. He wiped the sweat off his forehead like he could not stand the heat anymore. Hearing his voice, the other people in the line wanted to stop him, but it was too late. "No problem. You guys can go in and cool off. Is there anyone else who wants to come?" Chen Ge agreed easily and took the money immediately. He did not even give them a chance to regret. The rest of the people in the line walked out one after another. Chen Ge had Shu Shu give them the tickets while he used his phone to search for Mr. Shinozaki's information. The man was not a foreigner. He had merely come up with a foreign pen name. His main market was overseas, and his fans called him the walking mosaic or the godfather of holy light. The comic artist's pen name was Shinozaki Orochi, and he was very famous overseas. Not many people knew his real name. Chen Ge searched for a long time, and he only found a person who claimed to be Shinazaki's landlord. He claimed that he had seen Shinazaki's ID before. This famous comic artist actually had a very down-to-earth name, Li Paifu. Shinazaki Orochi, Li Paifu. It's hard to imagine that they are the same person. Chen Ge looked at the door, and Shinazaki was staring at the man in the trench coat. Perhaps they had sensed something different about each other. There were 7 people inside the haunted house's safety door. Shinazaki and his female assistant stood on the left, and the man in the trench coat stood alone on the right. The other 4 were in the same group, but they looked like they were not familiar with each other.
Liwan City is huge. 7 people won't even cause a ripple. If they were visitors who had passed the 3-star scenario, Chen Ge might have let them in directly, but these people were all new to the haunted house.
The few who had ill intentions toward the haunted house were fine, but Shinazaki and his female assistant were innocent. Chen Ge was a generous person. He would not shirk his responsibility to others just because they looked down on the haunted house and thought the scenario was not scary enough. After some thought, Chen Ge walked to the 7 people. The new scenario is very big, and it can fit 10 people. We'll wait for 3 more people, and then we can go in. The haunted house is a place where the fewer people, the more fun it is. 7 people is more than enough. The man in the trench coat had once been beaten by a visitor. He was not afraid of ghosts, but he was worried that it would be inconvenient for him to do bad things with too many visitors. Yes, it'll be too crowded and noisy for 10 people to go in together. What's the point? Shinazaki chimed in. He was a hot-tempered man, and his words came out of his mouth without thinking. I advise you to wait a little longer. The boss is doing this for your own good, a young man in the crowd said. A young man in the crowd spoke. Chen Ge was familiar with the man's voice. He turned to look and saw Yang Chen frowning as he stared at the bed next to the haunted house. Why do you come to my place every day instead of going to class? Perhaps because of the underground morgue. Whenever Chen Ge saw the students from Western Zhejiang Medical University, he felt a sense of familiarity. Yang Cheng was a bit afraid of Chen Ge. When she heard Chen Ge's voice, she would instinctively take a step back. I haven't cleared the underground morgue yet, so I won't challenge a new scenario, so you'd better give up. Xiao Yang, you're treating me like an outsider. I can't believe I gave you a coupon back then. Chen Ge raised his phone, and the screen showed the introduction of the new scenario. Are you really not going to consider it? Based on what I know, the only scenario left at your school is the underground morgue. After you clear the underground morgue and clear the new scenario, the 200,000 will be yours. You know me, I'm a man of my word. As long as you pass, I'll give you the reward on the spot. Whenever a scenario was challenged by Western Zhejiang Medical University, it would become a hot topic. In Chen Ge's eyes, the students were his mascots.
I'll pass, but I've brought a few people with me today. Yang Cheng turned back to look and waved. 2 men and a woman walked out from the group.
The one who walked at the front was Wang Yan. Chen Ge had seen him before. He had challenged Muyang High School and the underground morgue with Yang Cheng. The man and woman in the back were chatting enthusiastically. The woman was wearing a loose, off-the-shoulder t-shirt and white hot pants. She looked sexy and sweet at the same time, showing off the unique beauty of her age.
The man was taller than Wang Yan, and his muscles were obvious. He was dressed casually, but he was wearing branded clothes. He was much more handsome than Wang Yan, who was in plain clothes.
Wang Yan, that's my best friend. You know him? The woman behind him is his girlfriend, and the man is a sports student from Western Zhejiang's Normal University. He's also Wang Yan's girlfriend's high school classmate. According to rumors, he's the school hunk, Yang Cheng whispered. That's Wang Yan's girlfriend? I wouldn't have guessed it if you didn't tell me. Chen Ge suddenly realized something. Wait, Why are you telling me all this?
Yang Cheng winked at Chen Ge, and Chen Ge did not know whether to laugh or cry.
Before he could reply, Wang Yan's group of 3 walked over. Give me 3 tickets to the new scenario. It was clear that Wang Yan was not in a good mood, and his voice sounded tired. Are you sure? The new scenario is very scary. Don't let your emotions get the better of you. It's fine. I've challenged so many 3-star scenarios already. This new scenario shouldn't be a problem. Okay, with an experienced visitor like you around, I'm relieved. Chen Ge gave the tickets to the 3 and led them into the haunted house. The pens are on the table. Come and sign the disclaimer first. The 10 visitors stopped in the corridor, and it was quite crowded. The number of pens on the table was limited, and they had to wait. The man in the trench coat was annoyed. Is this necessary? I visited many haunted houses, but I've never seen one so formal. That's right. Visiting a haunted house is like bungee jumping, but in the end, it's just a psychological trick. The tall student who was covered in branded clothes said casually. He stood next to Wang Yan's girlfriend and started to talk about his past bungee jumping and beach diving. Compared to being chased by ghosts inside a haunted house, diving and bungee jumping were more appealing to the girl. Wang Yan's girlfriend listened seriously and would occasionally add a few words. Watch your mouth. This is your first time visiting a haunted house, so you'd better behave. Wang Yan handed the pen he was holding to the man. The student signed his name carelessly and placed the agreement on the table.
Zhang Feng. Chen Ge looked at the name on the agreement and carefully pocketed it. You wrote this name yourself, and I didn't do anything to entice you. You signed this willingly and came to visit the haunted house of your own accord. He had heard from Wang Yan that this was Zhang Feng's first time visiting a haunted house. This was his first time visiting a haunted house, and he challenged his own haunted house's 3.5-star scenario. Are you kidding me? It's not too late for you to back out now. Chen Ge tried to persuade him again. It's just a haunted house. Going too far is as bad as not going far enough. It's pointless for you to keep reminding me. Zhang Feng ignored Chen Ge's advice and continued to chat with Wang Dan's girlfriend. The man refused to leave, so there was nothing Chen Ge could do. He pocketed the rest of the disclaimers, and after making sure there were no problems, he started to tell the visitors about the unique gameplay of Liwan City. You can call this new scenario Ghost Story Town. It is made up of many ghost stories. It takes up a large area and has a high degree of freedom. After you enter, I will close the door to the town, and the method to clear the scenario is hidden inside the scenario. You need to find the clues hidden inside the scenario while being chased by murderers and ghosts. This scenario has 32 clues in total, and they correspond to 32 different endings. At this point, Chen Ge raised 4 fingers. Since this is your first time visiting this scenario, I can provide you with the locations of 4 clues. The first clue is hidden inside a water tank in one of the rooms. It is a phone that can hear the voice of ghosts. The second clue is hidden inside the residential building. You can't imagine what kind of strange things would be hidden in a place where you normally live. The third clue is hidden inside one of the mansions. It is a music box that can produce sounds on its own. The fourth clue is hidden on the owner of the hotel. Find him, and he will tell you all the strange things about this small town. Of course, the 4 clues that I've given you are only a small part of the scenario. You can go and find other clues on your own and find the way to escape. Chen Ge only mentioned these 4 clues because he had already set up all 4 of them. The 32 clues were just the scenario that he had imagined, and he needed to perfect it step by step. 32 clues. Of the 4 people who cut the queue, one of them did not quite believe what Chen Ge had said, but he merely doubted it and did not say anything. A completely open haunted house with a high degree of freedom. Here, you can experience the ultimate experience that other haunted houses cannot give you.
Chen Ge pocketed all the disclaimers and led the group to the entrance that led underground. I will give you one last piece of advice. After you enter, walk toward the light and do not move alone. You sure know how to act. You don't need to tell us that. The man in the trench coat grumbled softly to himself. Perhaps it was due to his guilty conscience or some other reason. Every choice you make will lead to a different result. You'll understand once you enter. Chen Ge opened the howling door, and a chilling presence rushed out from underground. The temperature dropped instantly, and the people around him shivered. Come on, I'll lead the way. Chen Ge walked at the front. They passed through the eerie path and arrived before the Liwan City scenario. A large, black iron door appeared before them. On this side of the door, they could hear the other visitors' screams and running, but on the other side of the door, there was only silence, like there was no life there. The experience duration is 40 minutes. If you wish to give up, just stand where you are and scream for help. Our workers will come and fetch you. After sending all the visitors into Liwan City, Chen Ge locked the iron door. The sound of the chains rubbing against the door was ear-piercing. Chen Ge looked at the 10 visitors before him, and his lips curled up. I hope you have a good time. Turning to walk out from the underground scenario, Chen Ge entered the main control room. He changed the background music for Liwan City to normal music. There were too many new people, so Chen Ge felt like the scenario itself was enough. After that, Chen Ge went to the entrance to buy the tickets. After a while, Yi Shaoxin finished her tour and walked out from the haunted house. The girl's back was drenched, and her forehead was covered in cold sweat. How do you feel after your review? Chen Ge walked toward her. Every time I visit, the first feeling I get is how real it is. That kind of fear hits my heart, like these things really exist in real life. Yi Shaoxin sighed from the bottom of her heart. I really have no idea how you designed these scenarios. It's so scary. If it's not scary, then how can it be called a haunted house? Chen Ge replied. By the way, there's something else I need to tell you. Yi Shaoxin took out her phone. Just now, one of my fans sent me a private message saying that the biggest physical haunted house in Xinhai is coming to your place to study. Xinhai's haunted house? Yes, their haunted house is about to collapse, so they want to come here to learn from you. Yi Shaoxin showed Chen Ge the information about the haunted house. Initially, Chen Ge did not pay it much attention, but after a quick glance, he felt like it looked familiar. Let me take a look at their group picture. After Chen Ge clicked open the picture, he realized to his surprise that the person in the picture that Yi Shaoxin showed him was very familiar. The face was soft, and the eyes were small. This person was currently inside his haunted house. I've seen this person before. He just entered the haunted house with that madman. That's impossible, right? Yi Shaoxin was confused.
That madman is on many haunted houses' blacklist. Only those who frequent the haunted house forum would know about him. This is not right. Chen Ge returned the phone to Yi Shaoxin. They don't come with good intentions. Not continuing the conversation with Yi Shaoxin, Chen Ge returned to the main control room to look at the surveillance at the entrance.
After some comparison, he confirmed his suspicion. These 4 are obviously in cahoots. They tricked a madman into my haunted house to cause trouble. What is their goal? Could it be that the futuristic theme park sent them here?
The situation had changed. Chen Ge thought about it and changed the background music back to Black Friday and wedding dress. Since you want to come here for a learning exchange, then I can't keep anything to myself. I don't want people to call me stingy. Walking out from the main control room, Chen Ge entered the dressing room to put on some makeup. Then, he took out a set of clothes from the Spectre's changing room. He contacted Xiao Jiyu through the employee channel and changed out of the Dr. Skullcracker's outfit that Xiao Jiyu was wearing. They probably wouldn't have expected there to be 2 different murderers, right? The chains dragged on the ground. Chen Ge put on the skin mask, held the scary-looking hammer in one hand, and returned to Liwan City.
Isn't it a pleasure to have friends come from afar? When the door to Liwan City closed, the temperature dropped even further.
Eeriness, silence, and indescribable terror washed over their bodies like waves.
No one spoke, and the visitors could hear each other's heartbeat. There's not even a sign? They just left us here? Shinozaki did not realize that his voice had become smaller.
That's how Mr. Chen's haunted house is. It's unique and different from the other haunted houses on the market. Wang Yan's tone was not friendly. He walked to the front of the group and took out his phone. I've cleared a 3-star scenario before. Are there any other visitors who have cleared a 3-star scenario? Only by working together will we have a chance of clearing the scenario. Quote. Have you been brainwashed by this haunted house? Why do you sound so childish? One of the people who came in with the feminine man said casually. Since when did he decide the rating of a haunted house? At most, his haunted house is only famous in Zhejiang. Quote.
He purposely came up with the difference in rating to earn money from you visitors. These are all leftovers from our earlier years. The other man stretched lazily and took out his phone like he was going to send a message to someone. I advise you not to use your phone inside the haunted house. Wang Yan looked at the man seriously. Everyone who uses a phone inside this haunted house will end up badly, and they will only drag their companions down with them.
You're the spy hired by the haunted house, right? Have you lost your mind? The man shrugged and started to communicate with his companions. Wang Yan still wanted to say something, but he was stopped by his girlfriend. His girlfriend also seemed to think that Wang Yan was being too childish and embarrassing.